Columbus did not accidentally discover America. He was actually failing a real mission to reach spices in India. Everything that followed, an entire hemisphere reshaping world history, began as collateral damage from that failure. The spice he was so desperately chasing was black pepper, once genuinely rivaling pure gold in raw trade value. Pepper grew almost exclusively along a narrow strip of India's Malabar coast, nowhere else on Earth at real scale. Ancient Romans became so obsessed with it that pepper earned a nickname still used centuries later: black gold. At its peak, a small sack of peppercorns could cost as much as a skilled Roman worker earned in several weeks. In 410 AD, a Visigoth king literally besieged Rome and demanded a staggering ransom paid partly in pepper. Alongside gold and silver, Rome handed over roughly 1.5 tons of peppercorns to save the city itself. A single spice, grown far away in distant India, once helped determine whether ancient Rome itself survived or fell. For centuries afterward, that same pepper traveled to Europe only through a long, expensive chain of middlemen. Arab traders controlled the routes across the Middle East, adding steep markups at every single stop along the way. Venetian merchants then controlled the final stretch into Europe, multiplying the price yet again before it arrived. I have a proposition that could change everything. The silks and spices of the East await, and I know how to get them. In 1498, a determined explorer finally sailed around the southern continent straight to the eastern realms. His ships returned to Lisbon loaded with pepper that had bypassed every single Arab and Venetian middleman completely. Other European nations watched Portugal's sudden fortune and immediately raced to find their own route to India. Spain, desperate not to be left behind, funded a different and far riskier plan proposed by an Italian navigator. That navigator was a determined visionary, and his plan was simple: sail west across the ocean to reach the eastern realms instead. In 1492, the ambitious captain set sail, fully expecting to land somewhere along the renowned eastern spice coast. Instead, his ships struck an entirely unknown landmass that no European map had ever recorded or even imagined. The ambitious captain never realized his mistake, insisting until his death that he had truly reached the outskirts of the eastern realms. That single, stubborn error is exactly why native peoples across 2 entire continents were mistakenly called Indians. So an entire hemisphere still carries the fingerprints of a spice route that Columbus never actually managed to find. Even the islands Columbus explored were named the West Indies, a label that survives on maps to this very day. Meanwhile, Portugal's success in India triggered a genuine race among European powers for direct access to its coast. The Dutch soon built a powerful trading company specifically to compete for control of all Asian spice routes. With this charter, we set sail to seize our destiny. That company was called the British East India Company, founded with one clear purpose: controlling Indian trade. What began as a simple trading operation for pepper and textiles slowly transformed into something far more dangerous. Over the following century, that trading company built private armies larger than many European nations possessed. A search that started with a single spice ended with a private company effectively colonizing an entire subcontinent. With the authority invested in me, I formally accept control.
It is done.
Yes, it is. All of that traces back, in a very real sense, to Europeans desperately chasing a single spice from India's coast. Pepper's value eventually declined as global supply increased, but its legacy quietly survives in unexpected places. In parts of England today, a purely symbolic annual rent is still legally described using the old term peppercorn rent. It means a rent so small it is essentially nominal, a direct linguistic echo from an era when pepper meant real wealth. So the next time you casually grind pepper over your dinner, remember what that spice once genuinely cost the world. A tiny dried berry from India's Malabar coast quietly rewrote the political map of the entire modern world map. Rome nearly lost its capital paying tribute in it, and Columbus sailed blindly into an unknown ocean chasing it. If you made it this far, you now understand how the hunt for one spice quietly reshaped continents it never touched. Subscribe to Food History Uncovered to keep uncovering how the food on your table quietly rewrote human history.